Hey gamers, welcome back to the channel. Today in DC Dark Legion, we're going to take a look at a couple things. First, we're going to take a look at some really good Outsiders teams, maybe some of the best. I'd be very curious what you think. The other is not something that I typically do and I don't make a whole lot of videos about, but I want to theorize a little bit about who the next Outsiders are going to be. We have two spots open. I have some theories that I want to put out there, so let's get into it. All right, and welcome back. All right, so let's talk about these Outsiders teams. I want to put some guardrails around it, though, because what I'm talking about specifically is, and when I talk about an Outsiders team or a JLD team, I'm talking about at least enacting, getting that 3-tag buff. So if we go ahead and take a look at the Outsiders, right? That 3-tag buff for the Outsiders, what we're looking for is the increase in their HP and their counterattack damage. I want that. When we take a look at the options that we have for these types of teams to be built, it's a little finite, because right now we've got Outsiders and Teen Titans with Starfire, who is fantastic, by the way, and she's getting better the more investment I put in here, meaning the more levels, the more ranks, the weapon, a lot of cool stuff. And then if we take a Martian Manhunter, Justice League, and Outsiders, the only tag he shares with Starfire on this is obviously Outsiders. And then we've got Arsenal down here, which I've only got at 4 stars right now, but he shares these two tags, Teen Titans and Outsiders. So it seems the best team combination, if you want that 3-tag bonus, is going to be Teen Titans and Outsiders. So I was playing around with that a little bit, and I came up with a couple fun combinations here. I was playing around with them in Trading Simulator specifically. They did okay in Combat Cycle. I think really this team, at least right now, is probably going to be better in Training Simulator. Could be good in PvP with all the counterattack damage. I really want that 5-hero, that 5-character team, though. Here's the thing about Outsiders, though. We've got some great characters. We've got Martian Manhunter, who is a fantastic tank. He scales well. His defense and his damage scales very well as you rank him. He's even better when you get his weapon, and you equip him with his weapon, and he's got his self-healing and stuff. He's a great tank. Starfire, fantastic. Not so great of a healer, not so great of a damage dealer. She does okay. However, the rest of her kit with the defense and everything that she has, but you give her her weapon, again, these characters seem to need their weapon to really, really shine. She does very well. She bumps up quite a bit in her healing. She bumped up mid 600,000s to 1 million. Now she's doing 2 million plus healing. On her damage, she bumped up a whole extra 1 million damage in my tests with her, just by giving her a weapon. And I'm comparing her 5-star, 5 blue star against a 2 blue star Raven. Now I do have her at a purple. That comparison with Raven, though, before I gave Starfire her weapon, she was just kind of on par with Raven. You give her her weapon, boom, she just flies. All right, let's talk about a couple of these teams that I have, and I'm very curious what teams that you've come up with. I know it's kind of finite. I've got another team I want to share with you without the 3-tag, just because I think it's a fun team, and I'm using her quite a bit in my Combat Cycle teams, specifically Starfire, not so much Martian Manhunter right now, but let's go into here. I put this team, a few of these teams together, and they're helping me get through some of the levels that I couldn't get through previously. So what I did is I put this team together first. So I've got Arsenal, Martian Manhunter, and Starfire. I've got Raven, and I've got Nightwing. One of the things that this team is missing right now is a really good damage dealer. So I brought Nightwing in. He's a fantastic damage dealer, so I think that's going to really help. I think I have too much support here. So this team here, when I ran through, was doing about 3.7 million damage. And we saw some good damage from Martian Manhunter. Then I switched to this team here. Oh, well, let's go back here. We've got 4 Teen Titan bonuses right here. The crit damage increase for these characters here. And then the Outsiders here, the counterattack and the HP bonus there. So I had that for the tags. Next, I tried this team here. This team, I don't have the 3 tags. I wanted to try this to see how it was, because I wanted to try and get the Bat Family tag in there, because you got a crit rate increase, which is really going to help the main damage dealer in this team, which is Nightwing, as well as the crit damage Nightwing. This is really kind of a Nightwing buff right here. and he did quite a bit of damage. Obviously, we do have Weapon Master as well, so we do have these 3 tags. However, I did the same amount of damage with this team as I did with the previous team, 3.7 million damage in here. And then I tried one more. I said, all right, I took a look at the difference. What happened was, and the reason why I dropped damage was because I think it was because I don't have the 3 tags for Outsiders, which gives that increase to counterattack damage. Because of that, I lost some damage, and my Martian Manhunter lost quite a bit of damage as well. So then I finally went to this team here. So this team, I've got 3 Outsider tags. I've got 4 Teen Titans, and I've got 3 of these Weapon Masters. So I got increased attack, I got increased crit damage, and then I've got increase in both my HP and my counterattack damage here. And it did really well. This team here, I'm just going to hit fight on this one as I talk through it. This team here was bringing in around 4.3 million. We'll see how they do on this one. Training Simulator is very difficult because it increasingly gets more and more difficult, and as it gets more and more difficult, you actually start seeing your damage reduced compared to the last level. So it's kind of really up in the air. Arsenal is really the weak link in the Outsiders. At least right now, it doesn't do a lot of damage. I did get him up on this last one around 1 million damage, which wasn't really too bad. My Nightwing took a dirt nap. My main damage dealer is gone on this one, but we're going to take a look at the damage. This team here got me through a few more levels for Training Simulator, so we'll see what the damage looks like here once this fight is up. I think really where this team might start to shine, I've been really hoping that this team would be good and they would rival JLD. Maybe I was a little over-optimistic on that one, but I think once we get all 5 team members together, it's going to give us a really good idea of what this team can do. Let me check the damage here. So we got defeated on that one. 1.6 million. Let's see. What was that? That's a little low because he died. So he was bringing in about 2.6 million consistently in the tests that I was doing. Red Robin was around that same damage. They're really not doing a whole lot, but I was trying to keep them, everybody away from my Arsenal. Now, Arsenal didn't do anything, but he did come in at what? Where is he? 1.5 million? No, I was wrong. No, he came in at 151,000. I way overestimated that. Not a great damage dealer. That's the problem with this team. It doesn't have a good damage dealer, which is why I brought in Nightwing. However, that seems to be the best team so far that I've been able to come up with. Let me go back into here. And that's this team right here with these 3 different tags. I'm going to run through that again a few times later just to see what we got going on. But I think it's a fun team. We've got heals and shields with Starfire. We've got some really good damage with Nightwing. Arsenal kind of he's all we have right now. So in order to get that 3 tag bonus, we have to have those 3. I don't know who else is going to be coming, but that leads me to my next topic. But before I jump into that, very curious on your thoughts. What do you think about Outsiders right now, at least when you have to put them into a 3-tag team? Another team that I have a lot of fun with is, and it's really only using Starfire, is this team right here. Let me throw him in there. And you and... Where is he? Him and him. So you all know I'm a huge JLD fan. So I get my 3 JLD bonus here. I've got a energy wielder bonus here as well. The cool thing here is we've got Sinestro. We'll start this. I'll probably fast forward it. We've got Sinestro who has a spiritual damage debuff. So it helps us do a little bit more spiritual damage. And the Outsiders do spiritual damage. So actually, I got to double check Arsenal just to make sure that that's accurate. But I know that Martian Manhunter, Starfire, they do spiritual damage. So with Sinestro on the team, it really helps out. And as you can see, they're doing really well right now. So this is one of my favorite teams to put together using at least one of the Outsiders right now. Let's take a look at damage here. We got 2.2 million here, 1.3 million here with Sinestro. Look at this. Look at this healing, 1.1 million. It's a shorter battle, but definitely out healing Raven. So there's my thoughts on the Outsiders team and maybe some of the best combinations. You let me know. What do you think? Who is your favorite team to put together with Outsiders? And then even maybe an off team like this. I'm very curious. Let's talk about who might be coming to the team. I'm very excited about this because I've been thinking a lot about who's going to fill those 2 spots. We know that we have Kara Zor-El coming, so we've got Supergirl coming to the game here, hopefully next week, as long as she's ready. I did some looking. Now, Supergirl was part of the Outsiders team for a little while. She worked with them and did submissions and stuff like that. She wasn't like a long-standing member or anything, but she has some ties to that team. So I'm curious if maybe they might give Supergirl not just the Super Family tag, but also the Outsiders tag. I think that would be cool. I don't know what her kit's going to look like. I would think probably damaged, but we'll see. Very interested to see that, though. So that's a theory that I have. Another theory that I have, we know that we've had some hints that new characters are going to be tied to the new Superman movie that's coming out. I took a look at the roster, the cast, and then I did more digging into the Outsiders. The Outsiders, like every other superhero team out there, has had a whole bunch of different configurations, right? One of the members that you see in a lot of those different team configurations is Metamorpho. Metamorpho is in the new Superman movie. So what if he gets an outsider tag? What if we get him in the game and he gets an outsider tag? I think that'd be cool. Metamorpho is a very interesting character, very strong, very powerful, considered one of the most powerful in the DC universe, at least for a few articles I read. But very curious what he could do in the game. So I'm curious if he's going to be coming to the game again, the Outsiders team, because that would give us our 5. Here's a couple other things, though. Nightwing has also been a leader of the Outsiders. So what if Nightwing also gets an Outsiders tag? We know, I talked about this in the video that I put out, talking about engraving and David wanting to add more depth and variety into tags eventually. Adding more tags, adding different bonuses to those tags, I think would be really, really cool to see. But could we see Nightwing as an outsider? I think that'd be really cool. I think that'd be awesome. He and Arsenal actually led the Outsiders at one time. So I think it was pretty cool. Those are some thoughts. Those are some theories that I have about who might be coming to the game and who might be filling in those last 2 outsider spots. Very curious. What do you think? Who do you think might be coming to the game to fill those spots? I'm really hoping that they didn't give us the Outsiders just to switch to something else and then get back to Outsiders later. I'm hoping it ties in. And it seems like it could, because the characters, it fits. It fits. I think it'd be cool. All right, everybody, that's what I had for you. Some teams and some thoughts around who might be coming to the Outsiders. Tell me what you think. What do you think about the teams? Who do you think might be coming? Who would you want to see fill in those last 2 spots on the Outsiders teams? All right, everybody, that's what I had for you. As always, I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch the video. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button and share your thoughts and questions in the comment section below. Take care, everybody, and we'll talk to you next time.